Writing test cases is one of the most boring parts of coding. So I thought, what if AI could do this for me? In this video, I'm going to show you a Python tool that takes any Python file and generates Pytest test cases automatically using the Gemini API, and it will automatically runs them and even fixes the failed ones. So let's see if AI can actually save developers time or completely fail. First, let me show you the demo of what this could do. Consider this is the sample file that I have taken. In this file, this contains 4 functions: add function, division function, checking if your number is even or odd, and then greet function that will just greet a user. So this sample file that I will take, and I will pass this sample file to the Gemini. Consider, let me run this Python AI tool.py. So this is the AI tool that I have created, and for this Python step we need to pass the input file. The input file in this case is the sample.py file that contains the 4 functions, and let me press enter. You consider it is reading the files and generating the test cases for us, and the test case will automatically return to your Python file. Then using the Pytest, we can check all the test cases automatically. You consider now the test has been saved to this test sample.py file, and inside this Python file we have many test cases generated automatically for those 4 functions. So to run this, make sure you type the Pytest and run the generator file, that is test sample.py. You consider all 34 test cases have been successfully passed. So this is how you automatically generate the test cases for your Python script. So let us see how to build this from scratch. As I told, right, this is the input file that I will take, which contains some 4 functions. So we need an external library to interact with the Gemini. So open up your terminal, and in the terminal just type pip install. So we're gonna install the Google Generative AI. Just type Google.generative AI. We need this library to interact with the Gemini. Consider requirement already satisfied. Let me close this one, and let's create a Python file now. Actually, we will write the logic over that. So a test.py, and let's import the libraries that we need. So we need the OS and we need this is. I will tell you what this is used for. Then from the Google.generative AI, I'm going to import this as Gen AI. So we also need a subprocess. So these are the 4 libraries that we need. Then let's define the configuration. So first let's set up the API key for the generative AI. So gen AI.configure, inside this we need to provide the API key. So I will show you how to get the API key as well. Open up your browser. So just head over to this website called aistudio.google.com. So if you head over to this website, the dashboard will look like this, where you have the option to create new API key. On the right hand side, you have the option called the create API key. But I have already created a API key. I will use this one. But if you want to create a new one, just click on that and click on create key. It will give you the new API key, but I will use the existing one. Let me copy this one, and I'm gonna paste it over here. So this is not recommended that you are using the API key directly. So actually you need to use the .env file. But since this is a tutorial video, I will delete this API key after this video ends. So make sure you use the environment variable. So then let's define the model as well. Model equal to Gen AI dot generative model. There are many models out there. The model that I will use in this video is the Gemini 2.5 Flash model. The default one is the 1.5 Flash, but that one is already depreciated. So we're gonna use the 2.5 Flash. So this is the model that we're gonna use. Then let's define our main function. So def9. So inside this main, we will write all the logics of our AI tool over here. So first what we will do is we will get the input file. Basically how we will run is, so I will show you what the sys library actually used for. So let me type file path equal to, actually we will get the file path from the terminal. So basically how you run is Python and the name of the Python file, that is a.py, and inside this you need to pass the sample input file, right? So you will type the sample input file after it here. Consider sample.py. So we'll have to get this. So the consider is the sample file, right? So we will have to get the sample file name over here. So that's why we have this library called the sys. So which will give you the argument system. So sys.argv. So we will get the first argument. So this will give us the file path. But if the user didn't provide the sample.py file, that is the input file, so we'll have to check, right? So I will also write the logic over here. That is, if the length of the sys.argv is less than 2, then we need to tell the user that you need to provide the file path, and that's it. Now we have the file path, right? So we need to open the file path and get the data. Actually, you can return or you can use the sys.exist. So then let's see how to get the code from it. So we can print a sample message over here, reading file, and we can print the file path. And then so I'm gonna say code equal to, so I will define a function over here called the read report. So inside this we need to pass the file path. Actually, let's define this function now. That is the read report. So after this configuration, I'm gonna create that function over here. So def read code. So this will take the file path as an argument. So first I will check if the file is actually exists or not. But if the file is not exists, right, we can directly throw a error. So if the file not exists, I'm gonna simply throw a message like file not found. But if the file exists, then we can read the file and get the data and return it and return file.read. So this will give us the all the ports on the file. So now we have all the code, right? Then what we can do is we can simply print a message like generating test, and we can build the prompt now. So prompt equal to, so build the prompt. So again I will create a function and pass the code over there. So let's define this build from function over there. So this function will take two arguments, that is the code and the file path. So let's define this function now. So def build the prompt. So this will take two parameters, code as well as the file path. Actually I have the prompt over there in my notepad. So let me copy and paste the prompt now. Consider I have the prompt over here. Let me copy this prompt and let me paste over here, and basically I will explain you what this prompt is. Actually I have used the file name as an argument, so let me change the file path to file name. And you consider you are a expert Python developer and test engineer, generate high quality Pytest test cases, and I have passed the file name as well as the code, and then I have set up some simple rules. Simulate executions step by step, respect execution order, do not assume behavior, only test what is explicitly implemented, use PyTest only, cover core logic plus meaningful edge cases, and you consider keep test minimal and correct. And output should be Python code only. So this is the our prompt that I have given. So once we have the prompt, right, then we can get the response, that is getting the actual Pytest code. So response equal to generate AI, and inside this we can pass the prompt. So let's create this function called the generate AI, and def generate AI. This will take the prompt, and we will call the model now. So response equal to model dot generate content, and we're gonna return this text. So response dot text, we will return it. So once we have the text, what we will do is we need to clean a little bit, because I will show you the response. So let me print the response, and here in the terminal let me pass the input file. So sample.py. So I will show you why we need to clean this up. Here basically we said, right, return only Python code. Actually we didn't call the main function, right? Let me call the main function over here. If we didn't call, nothing will happen. So let me call the main function and let me run the Python file one more time, and you consider reading the file and generating the test for it, and we got the response over here. Basically the problem with this code generated by the Gemini is that you consider it generated the test case for us, but at the top we consider we have table backticks and the Python keyword there. At the bottom as well we have table backticks, which we will get error in the when running the Python file. So basically we'll have to clean this up. So test equal to, we'll have to clean using a function called the clean output. So I'm gonna pass the response over there. So let me define that function over there. So def clean output. So what I will do is output equal to output dot replace. I will replace the table backticks Python keyword with a normal empty string. So once I have done that, I will basically return that output. So basically what I am trying to do over here is, if you look at the terminal, I am trying to remove this triple backticks and the Python keyword at the top, as well as triple backticks at the bottom as well. So once I have removed that one, I will simply return the output, and that's it. You consider I am removing this one as well as this one. This is our goal. So once you have removed that one, we can simply save the output here Python file. So test file equal to, I'm gonna say save test file. I'm gonna pass the test and the file path. So let me create this function to save the Python file, that is test case Python file. So this function will take two parameters, that is the content as well as the original file. First what I will do is I will get the URL of the base file. So base equal to, because we want to save the test file in this present folder, right? So let me get the base. So this will give us the base URL. Then we need to get the name. So name equal to, so I will get the name directly from the base URL. So once we have the name, then what we can do is we can say test file equal to So we can give a name like test hyphen whatever the name will be and .py. So this is our test file. So once we have the test file, so we can open the test file. So with open, I'm gonna open this file as write mode, and the encoding will be UTF-8. I'm gonna write all the contents, that is the content, and that's it. And finally I will return the test file. So return test file, and that's it. This should save the file in the present project folder and give us a Python file. And then what we can do is we can simply print a message like test has been saved to this file location. So let me run the Python script now. Python a test.py, and the input file is sample.py. So let me run now, and you consider generating test for us. You consider a generated test case has been written to the Python file, that is test sample.py, and we have the Python file over here. And you consider it write test case for all the edge cases, and in the input basically you remove the dot. So from sample we're gonna import all the four functions. So make sure you manually review that you have imported correctly all the functions. You consider it has written all the test case for our Python script. So to test this, what we need to do is we need to have Pytest. So if you haven't installed the Pytest, open up your command prompt and just type it install Pytest. So we need to use this Pytest library to test the Python step. So let me type Pytest and the generator file, that is test.sample.py, and press enter, and you consider all the 34 test cases has been successfully passed. So you can also do this automatically as well. I'll show you how to do this in a minute. And you consider we have written test cases for adding positive to positive integers, adding to negative integers, adding positive number and negative number, and you consider it has written test cases for adding with 0. So basically it will write test cases for all edge cases. So this is how you automate testing a Python step using Gemini. So this will reduce all the manual work that you have done previously. So let us see how to run the Python script automatically as well. So instead of you running Python script, you can also automatically run it. So let me show you how to do that as well. So I'm gonna print a message like running Pytest script, and then I will simply call a function called a run Pytest, and inside this I will pass the test file. So let me define this function now, run Pytest. So and I will store the output in the result variable, and I will print the result over here. And let me define this function now. So def, and the function name is run Pytest, and this will take the test file. So basically to run the Python script using the programmatic way, we have a library in Python called the subprocess. So result equal to consider we have, that's why we have imported this library subprocess. So result equal to subprocess that run. So we will simply run Pytest and the name of the Python file, that is test file, and capture output equal to true and text equal to true, and simply we will return the std out, as well as we will also return the error as well. So plus result dot std error, and that's it. And let me run the Python script now. So Python a test.py, and the input file is sample.py, and press enter. This should transfer generating the test case for us. So one more thing I want to forget to mention is that we'll have to clean this a little bit now. So I will show you what I mean. So we will get a error now. Consider running Pytest script, and we should get error over here now. We consider we got a error. So I will show you what that error is. Actually, if you open up the generator test case file, you consider this is the generated test case files. If you go up, consider there will be a line over here from dot sample. It shouldn't be dot. Just from sample import all the things. So now if you run now, so Pytest test is sample, you consider now all the test case has been passed. So you can fix this in the clean output function. So yeah, let me show you how to do that as well. So in the clean output function, basically what we can do is you consider here we have, so we need to remove the dot. So output equal to output dot replace. So I'm gonna replace from dot equal to from only. So we need to remove that dot now. Basically consider previously we have dot over here. We need to remove the dot, and finally we can return the output. So let me run the Python script again. So Python a test.py and sample.py. This time it should run the generated test case file automatically for us. Consider generating test for us. You consider running Pytest script. Let's give you a few minutes, and you consider 28 test case has been successfully passed. It has automatically run the Pytest script for us. We don't have to run it. So yeah, this is how you automatically generate a test case for your Python script. You consider if you go to the Pytest, it has written the test case for all the edge cases. So yeah, this is for this video and I will continue in the next one.